I guarantee you both of you, if y'all stayed homeless for 6 months, it'll get comfortable. Because I can take you every day, 7 days a week, get you a shower, get you clean clothes, and get you at least 4 good meals. The homeless community is a microcosm of the community of America, period. We got the same people those who want to break in everybody's house, steal everything. You got those who want to help people. You got those who strung out on drugs or alcohol. You have those who have mental health issues. And you have those who are trying to get off the streets. And you have those who have gotten so comfortable, they don't want to get off the streets. We have those who had something bad happen to them, and they became homeless. And they don't want to be homeless, but because of their circumstances, they can't afford to get off the streets. You have those who have drug and alcohol problems. You have those who have mental health problems. You have those who are bipolar, who can't keep a job because one day they cuss out everybody on the job and they lose their job. It's the same thing down here. You have those who steal from each other. You have those who help everybody and anybody. And you have those who don't care no more. I have people with college degrees, teachers, engineers, that are sitting in there right now who's been homeless for 15 years. And I mean, their story is the same. Some of the men got divorced and their wife took everything. And they swore they'd never let nobody take anything again. I went homeless for 6 months to study. And they asked me one day, they talked to a news lady because they closed all the bathrooms in the parks with the homeless. That's how I got started. And the lady started asking me questions, and I didn't know what the answer was because I hadn't been homeless. And so I started asking the homeless people, and then I realized that some of them was making up stories, some of them was exaggerating stories, and some of them was telling the truth. So the only way I could find out for real was to become homeless. So I became homeless for a whole year.
Oh, a whole year?
A whole year. I slept in this. I used to sleep in this parking lot right here, right over against that room. I came down here to visit some people, and 2 of them are in that room right now. And they told me they was hungry. And I said, don't nobody come down here and feed? And they said, nobody comes down here. Because everybody goes down to Cass. All the churches go down to Cass. Because they look and they say, well, that's where the homeless are. In Phoenix, Arizona, 70% of the people that are homeless do not go to shelters. 2 reasons. One, the weather, you can't freeze to death. Not even in the wintertime. It's gonna get 30 degrees, but it'll be at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So if you're in a sleeping bag, you ain't gonna freeze.
Right.
The second reason is most people that work in shelters work for minimum wage, and it's a check. It ain't a ministry. To deal with the homeless, it's gotta be a ministry. It's gotta be something that you feel called to do because of what y'all just witnessed. Dealing with people who have mental health issues. When I first started down here, I was fighting every day. Because we had them group of people who've been bullying people, and they come down here and they see me, so they're gonna bully me. Now, my stature, my size, and then my age makes people believe this is the easy version of bullying. So by after a month of beating up all the tough guys, I didn't have to fight no more. But I had to fight for that month. And so now, because I've been doing it so long, my name is He Do Not Play. But he'll give you the shirt off his back. And so it's all about boundaries, I guess would be the best thing. Because most homeless people don't have boundaries. They just don't. Because we don't know when our next meal is coming. So we try to get everything we can while we got it. So when I offer people food, I tell them, I'm going to call seconds, so don't try to take everything. And I've been out here for 37 years.
So after that 6 months of you trying to be, or a year of trying to be homeless, did you start to feel comfortable?
Oh, it got so, I'm going to tell you how easy it got. Man, look here. I had a guy, I asked him, he said, I'm going to teach you how to be homeless. And this is what he told me. Get 2 sleeping bags and a 31-day bus bag. He said, you won't need nothing else the rest of the way. He showed me where all the places that were safe to sleep at. All the places you could sleep, you can go in early and sleep late around here. And we became good friends. And he took me He took me to places, and none of the places was around here. They were all out somewhere. I had to catch a bus or 2 buses to get to them. And then as I started meeting the people around here, I realized they didn't have the bus pass. And this was a conference center. This area right here is one of the safest places to be homeless at. Now, there are those that tell you it's because I'm around. I believe it's because of the people around. Everybody around here become friends and be like family, so they look out for each other. And when they see a problem coming, they always let me know. And then I go talk to the problem. And my thing is, I don't want to show. Hey, Reed, come here for a second. He has seen me at my very best. He's also been with me when they come to get me to send me overseas. So,
I'm the one out here in the cold.
It's nice to meet you.
My own extra
So, but the ideal is, my intent from the beginning was to make this a safe place. A safe place. And then I started going places nobody would go because of the violence in them places. And then it got to the point where volunteers would come if I came. So over time, now we got volunteers walking here, don't worry about nothing. I tell them bring the kids, you know. Before y'all came, I speak to every volunteer. Say, if you get in an argument with anybody, you don't have to argue with them. Just call my name. If you call my name, everybody gonna tell me they need you over there. And that's,
They're my brothers.
I mean, there's places you go where I'm the one big dog.
Oh, like 5 or 6.
Yeah, so I mean, I go everywhere. And I've been on national TV. I mean, CBS, and everything I do, anybody could do it. The only difference is they had to make the commitment that I made to do it. Now, I made a deal with God. When I retired, I was in a dark place. I have 103 confirmed kills. 103. I jumped out of an airplane at 30,000 feet 48 times. All of them in there. I have a really bad case of PTSD, but I function better than most people that ever has it. Because I accept the reality, I can't change it. So when it happens, when I come out of it, I don't beat myself over the head. I just get up, get back, and go back to doing whatever. Now everybody around here used to be disappearing. So if you ever come looking for me and you can't find me, everybody will tell you, don't worry, you'll be back. He'll show up sooner or later, don't worry, brother, he's coming. And so my whole thing is, there are a lot of things I wish I could do. I know I'll never be able to do. But I know this is what God called me to. When anybody could do it, all they do is make the same commitment I made. I give up a lot to, and he'll tell you, I really don't like being, I can put this, Moses. The street gave me that. One day we had a revival in Sunday Slope. A pastor asked me to get some people. I went to the park, told everybody if they come to the revival, I'll feed them. When I got to the corner where the park was, I couldn't get across the street because of traffic. So I got out in the middle of the street and stopped traffic. And the pastor's wife told me, you look like Moses parting the Red Sea.
His hair was long. He was
Oh yeah, my hair used to be down. I had my hair back
and he
down.
also wore a beard.
And I had a beard.
Later
Later on that night, a hooker came up to me and she said, everybody respects you. You're like Moses. You're going to lead them out of homelessness. And she started calling me Moses every time she saw me. And then one day I'm standing in Sunday Slope, 7th Street in Hatcher, and the police pulled up to me. And they said, Moses, have you seen this guy? And it was there, Moses.
ever since.
Yeah. And so now, everywhere I go, everybody knows me as Moses. And if you call my real name, I will answer Moses a whole lot faster than I will Charlie. It's just as simple as this. So nothing special about me. It actually isn't. The only thing special about me is the God that I serve. Because he has brought nothing but good people around me to make what we do successful. He was the first. But
Well-
I've had people that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year come and volunteer. If I need anything, they say, let me know, we'll get it. So I don't have to go out and try to raise money to do what I do. When we don't have the money somehow, some way, I come up.
It happens.
It comes, the money that shows up. God opened doors for me to get the money, no matter how much it is. I mean, we now have a shower truck where the homeless can come around here and get showers. We do free laundry every Friday, a few miles up the street, where they can bring their dirty clothes and wash them. And, you know, we feed them breakfast, and we fellowship. Everybody laugh and joke. They're my family. I mean, it's to me. I make sure I hug everybody. I speak to everybody. If they're having a problem, I do everything I can to help them through the problem. I mean, I got a unique education. I have the equivalent of a PhD education, but it's in 5 different names.
Oh, going around with different aliases. Huh?
But I have the knowledge. I just don't have the paper to put on the wall.
That's too bad. It's
No.
things that is attached to each other.
But no, because God opened up them doors because he knew down the road my knowledge was more important than the recognition of a degree. I'm not going to open up an office where everybody can come in and I charge $300. My clientele can't afford 20 cents, let alone $300. But they need it just as bad as anybody else. Again, I go back to that. This is society just like the rest of society in America. It's the exact same thing. It's just a smaller part, but it's the same thing. I mean, a lot of these people look at them and they say something, but they themselves is one paycheck away from being one of them. You know, I mean, think about people because of COVID, they lost their jobs. Or they got old, like we are old, both of us are over 70. Can you imagine me trying to go find a job at 70 years old?
No, that's not easy. Or not at 60.
Yeah, but I mean, think about my qualifications. I'm a world-class killer. Who gonna hire? What you gonna hire me for? You know, I can't tell you about my education because I can't prove it. Now, if you sit down and spend time with me and interview me, and we walk and you see what I do, you say, "Well, he knows something." But going for a job, I never get it. So God has always provided a way for me to make it. You know.
See, there's been a certain continuity about helping the homeless here in Phoenix, and it's lasted through changes in city government, mayors, police chiefs. I mean, I've been here through 6 or 7 police chiefs, and like more than that of mayors. The good thing about Phoenix is that the mayor doesn't run the city. City managers run the city, and they've had good city managers all the time that I've been here.
How do you feel about the increase in homelessness out here?
It will continue to increase just because the situation will continue. Rents have gone sky high in some places, and they keep increasing year after year after year. The people who are marginally housed are no longer housed. They're out on the street. Apartment complexes get bought and sold out from under the people that have lived there for 15, 20 years. I know people who had paid rent for 15 or 20 years in the same place. And they got sold. The new owner started things over again, and he wanted more money. And he wanted first month's rent, last month's rent, and the security deposit. They didn't have to. They've been paying their rent every month for 15 years. They're out on the street. They were evicted right away. That's the situation here. And there will be more and more homeless because of it.
What do you think is keeping people out here? What makes them stay homeless?
What's making them stay homeless?
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, if they have a choice, they wouldn't stay homeless. They don't really have a choice. If you're getting sort of minimal Social Security or whatever, it's not enough to pay rent.
1 second.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting $1,000, $1,100 a month Social Security, that will you can't rent a place. There's the $500 apartment doesn't exist here anymore.
Yeah.
So they're going to be homeless. I mean, there are people who more or less choose to be homeless because it's their whole social life now. It's their life now. People who've done it long enough get good at it, and they don't really want to change. There's organizations here in the city, one of those community bridges, there's a few others who are, and Native American connections and some others. They're trying, their best to put people into housing. A lot of times people will go and then they won't stay. They'll live there for 3 or 4 months and then they just leave the place because they don't know anybody there. They don't have any friends. They go back to where their friends are. Their friends are out here on the street. I mean, the street has its appeal. There's no two ways about it.
You get comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I said once people have been out here long enough, they learn how to deal with it. They learn where to find things. Like people like in this church and other places provide. Well, it's not like being homeless and destitute. I mean, they're not. In the United States, it's really hard to become destitute. You can always, you're not going to starve. You can always find food. Someone will give you food. This is the United States. It's not like some third world country where if your livelihood ends, your life can end. Here, no. And one of the reasons why Phoenix is you can't freeze to death. It's impossible.
Being homeless is easy. I know people who was homeless that we put in housing, and because they lost all their benefits of being homeless, went back to being homeless. If you was a woman with 2 kids and you got put into housing, you was no longer considered homeless. You lost your access insurance, you lost your food stamps, and your aid to dependent children. So now, if I've been homeless for 2 years with my kids and you take me off the streets and you take everything away from me, how long I'm gonna stay in a building? How can I pay for my child care for my kids to go to child care? Because before that, assets paid for it. Aid to dependent children paid for it. But they go by the cost of living. I can take me and my kids get sick. I can't take care of them off of $13 an hour. So I'd rather be homeless, stay in you, Mom. And when my kids get sick, I got insurance to take care of them. I can feed them because I get food stamps and I get aid to dependent children. Now you give me a nice clean apartment, my kids are out of the streets, blah, blah, blah. But if somebody gets sick, but I gotta feed them cereal every day because I don't have the food. So a lot of it is our leaders tend not to look at the big picture of what it is that got you there and what we're gonna do to get you out of it. Now, years ago, I did a study of 46 states in America. And I went to the 2 largest cities in each state. And I've studied their homeless infrastructure. Phoenix ended up being number 1. And I didn't want Phoenix to be number 1, but I had a criteria.
In best infrastructure or worse?
In homeless infrastructure to help the homeless. Not get them off the street, but help them to survive on the streets. And what happened is, you cannot go hungry in Phoenix if you feel like, if you want to go one, like I told you earlier, I can take y'all and feed y'all really, really good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, on Mondays I can take you to Scottsdale. There's a church out there where you can sit around from 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night, inside, watch TV. At 5 o'clock, they feed you a meal. Now, the meal, some of the time, me being single, I couldn't afford to make that meal. I just couldn't, because it would cost me too much money for me to make just for one person. On Tuesday, I can take you 2nd Street and back down, or I can take you to Scottsdale, where every week we have a different group come and feed people. And they feed everything from pizza to fried chicken to steak.
Wow, that's...
And then you go down the line, you got snacks, you got water, you got juice. I can get you popcorn, I can get you cotton candy for the kids, I can get you sleeping bags, I can get you bus pass. All this is in one place now, one place.
What's that place called?
Well, it's called Aries. It's one of the places they feed. It's at Broadway and McClintock, Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Aries is a group that doesn't, but it's a combination of small businesses, people who want to have churches, everybody
Oh, they
going
all
in.
come together.
Yeah.
Come together at one time.
On Thursday nights here, this past Thursday night, we gave these out to everybody that came in. McDonald's gift cards. So if they get hungry, well, because we're not going to be here for 2 weeks, so if you get hungry, go to McDonald's. We'll give you a card. You don't have to buy the food. Then on Mondays and Fridays, there's a church that feeds Hispanic style meals. On Monday at 6 o'clock and on Friday at 6 o'clock. You know, on
It's
Sunday,
just a small storefront church that
Yeah.
does this.
on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, my church is sitting in a park and we serve a meal. And I mean, these are meals that everybody wish they could have for dinner. And we give them away at 9 o'clock in the morning. Today they had chicken and rice.
Okay.
One day we have fried chicken, one day we have chili.
We have ribs one.
Well, yeah, we had ribs one day.
Ribs.
Yeah, because
That's
I
good.
have
That's
I have
good
two
stuff right
chefs.
there.
I have two chefs that are members of my church, and they take turns making the meal for what they're gonna have. I have on Thursday night I got volunteers who make over $150,000 to $200,000 a year. So it's nothing for them to say, I want to bring pizza. This past week we had lasagna for everybody.
Okay.
Costco is not.
Yeah, Costco. I mean, big old pan.
Right. Well, that's the good stuff, right?
And in every place I
Yeah.
feed, and I mean every place I feed, you can get seconds.
Oh, and you can get seconds here, right?
Every place if I'm there, you're gonna get seconds.
Oh, there we go.
That comes with what I am. Over the course of a week, I feed about anywhere from 800 to 1,100 people. I can't be at every place I'm associated with. A lot of them feed at the same
Now,
time.
what are you talking about? So this is pretty much independent groups of people,
yeah.
who are doing this.
People who
Then
contact
you
me.
have church-sponsored places, and you also have government-sponsored places.
And then we have people
you
that just wanna help.
You have Andre House, which is, what is it? Andre House is Catholic charities.
Yeah, it's Catholic
It's
Church.
Catholic charities, but they serve a meal every day but one.
Friday.
On Friday, they don't serve. Every other day, they serve a meal. And they serve to like 400 or 500 people.
Wow. That's a big
Well,
number.
it's part of the homeless campus.
Yeah, it's
They're adjacent to the
Central Arizona Shelter Service.
Oh,
The whole ideal is 90% of what I do, we do, they do, is deal with people who don't go to shelter. We try to go where they're at, rather than them trying to find us. Now, over the years, because I've done it so long and I've been homeless, I understand some of the intricacies of what works for different areas. This church, I've been volunteering at for 30-some years. They have always served the homeless. Way before that was put there, because this area, again, was a safe place for people to camp out. So if it's safe, you get more homeless people because most of them can't defend themselves. They just simply can't do it. So once it's safe, this is where everybody gonna come. And if they meet somebody else that's homeless, they always invite them. Don't worry about it. Somebody get beat up, you can't get beat up over there. Don't worry about it. Nobody's gonna let you get beat up. And so it's over the years, this population has grown. It just got younger. We have a lot more women in this area than we have in other areas because it's safer here for women than it is in other areas. So the ideal is, and this church is very strong about making the homeless community part of this community, the whole community. Whereas in some areas, I have churches who don't want to have nothing to do with them. They'll tell me, well, Moses, we know you're doing a good work, but that's not what we're doing. You can't use our parking lot. I mean, can you imagine that? So I can't use your parking lot when nobody's in it for me to feed somebody. But I get that. But yet we say we're Christians. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the whole ideal is simply this. Everything I do, God's put his hand on it. Look at her. She come to help. Look at that smile. How can you beat it? You know, they make it easy for us to be successful. I get the credit because I'm the person that everybody knows. But the bottom line is, man, I couldn't have done none of this without all the people that God sent to help me. When I first started, him and a guy named Daniel Green, them two. I mean, everybody talked about me, but I mean, man, I used to set a table. This church would let me use their table, and I used to set them in there. I used to have people line up here and then go all the way around that corner. How could I feed all them people by myself? I didn't ask them to help me; they volunteered. So it's people like that. CBS did a major wonder for me because when they put me on national TV, I got all kind of phone calls. What can we do to help? I wanted to do something to help people, but I didn't know where to go or who to talk to. CBS said, well, this is the person to see. So I went from a person who originally the only thing I did is gave out bus passes. And I was head of the volunteers at a St. Vincent de Paul dinner place in Sunny Slope. I ran there. They called Martha's Kitchen. And from that, everything, 90%, all the new ideas, most of them didn't come from me. It came from somebody else. And I said, well, let's try it. And it worked. So it isn't I don't think I am nowhere near as important as some people believe I am. I believe my role was to organize it and to have the courage to stand up. I mean, I've talked to city councils, I've been on the mayor's council, I've been on the governor's council on homeless. And I've sit up and argued with people about their false perception of what type of people are homeless. Because most people think somebody that's homeless is lazy, a drug addict, or alcoholic, or a troublemaker. When a lot of times, you got people, all they want to do is move forward, get better, get off the streets. Some of them, mental health wise, they aren't capable of getting off the street. Let me rephrase that. They aren't capable of staying off the streets. Because we can get them, I can take you and put you in an apartment, but if you don't know how to make new friends, if you don't know how to cook, where are you going to go to eat? You're going to go where you know we feed. Monday at 11 o'clock, we got barbecue truck sitting right here. Tuesday, right around the corner, we're going to feed a meal. Wednesday, we're right here serving a meal. Thursday, we're right here serving a meal. On Friday, you go 35th Street in Van Buren. We serving a meal. Now, you may live in an apartment on, let's say, 24th Street in Thomas, but you can't cook. Where are you going to come to eat? You know all these places are here. And I'm a believer that you come somewhere long enough, eventually you're going to stay. Once they get comfortable, you're not going to leave. I used to ask my dad, he had uncles who lived in Cleveland. I used to go to Cleveland with him when I was little. Pops, why do people live in these raggedy houses, these raggedy buildings? He said, well, son, they're comfortable living in them. They didn't live in them their whole life. They don't want to leave because they're afraid if they go somewhere else, they won't be comfortable. And that's what it is with homeless. Once you get comfortable, man. I'm going to say this, and man, I hate to say this. There was one time in my life I got comfortable killing people. Didn't bother me at all. And then one day I decided I didn't want to kill no more. So I retired.
Oh.
I was a real bad mood.
Would you be willing to tell his story?
No, I don't
No.
share my life with them.